Yeah. Hello friends. This is Gangadhar from Maths Ganga. This is another question asked in JEE Advanced 2019 Paper 1 under more than one answer type question. See, in the question, there are two lines L1 and L2. Those two lines are mentioned in vector form, like R bar is equals to I plus lambda into that one, and R bar is equals to mu of this one. These are the two lines, and we have to discuss about the third line L3, which is perpendicular to these two lines and cuts both of them. Then which of the following describes L3? See, we have to describe L3 from the options, and L1 and L2 are given. L1 and L2 as well as L3, these three lines are represented or expressed in vector form. So, to analyze a line which is in vector form, its general form is of R bar is equals to A bar plus lambda B bar. If R bar is A bar plus lambda B bar, it represents a line in vector form in which A bar is the point on the line and B bar represents the drs of the line, means the direction ratios of the line, which represents the direction of the line. So R bar is equals to A bar plus lambda B bar is the general form of a line in vector form, for which A bar is the point on the line and B bar is the drs of the line for lambda belongs to R. So with this idea of vector form, we need to understand these two lines, and then we are going to describe the line. Okay, so usually in 2D a line is described about a point and with its slope, but in 3D a line is represented with its point along with the drs. So since we have to describe L3, we need to find out the drs of L3 as well as points on L3, right? So to find the drs of L3, what we have to do? How is L3? L3 is the line which is perpendicular to L1 and L2. See, if you observe, these L1 and L2 are not parallel lines. See, L1 and L2 are two different lines, and L3 is perpendicular to those two lines. First of all, I am going to express the given two lines in the three-dimensional form, okay, Cartesian form. So how it is? Since it is R bar is equals to I plus lambda times of this one, this vector represents the drs and this I represents the point at R. So the three-dimensional form for the first line is, we have only I, no z and k. So we will write it like x minus 1 by this coefficient. Minus 1 is equals to y minus, no, 0, right? Y minus 0, because related to the point there is no j chord, y by 2, and that is equals to z by 2. So this is the three-dimensional representation for the first line. Coming for the second line, so there is no point here, so we have to treat the point as origin. So x minus 0 by 2 is equals to y minus 0 by minus 1 is equals to z by 2. These are the given two lines L1 and L2 in the three-dimensional form. See that these values represents the drs. Since L3 is perpendicular for these two lines, I am going to calculate drs of L3. Okay, see, perpendicular drs of the perpendicular line for the two lines can be calculated by the determinant of these four values. 2, 2, minus 1, 2 is 2 again. So for the determinant of, leave this middle one and then consider 2, 2 and then these first values. Minus 1, 2 is 2, minus 1, 2, 2, minus 1. Okay, so these values, this ratio gives us the drs of a line which is perpendicular to for the given two lines. See, these two lines will be like this, and you have to calculate a line which is perpendicular for these two lines. See, basically these two lines are skew lines. So we have a shortest distance between those skew lines, and the line along the shortest distance represents the line which is perpendicular to those two lines. So we are going to describe about that line which is perpendicular to the given two lines. Since L3 is perpendicular to L1 and L2, the drs of L3 can be calculated with this. So this is nothing but 4 minus of minus 2 is 6 is to 4, and then plus 2 is 6 is to 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Since 6 is to minus 3, so the drs can be represented as 2, 2 minus 1. Okay, so drs of L3 I have now, right? So what are the drs of L3? 2, 2 minus 1. See, after knowing the drs of L3, what I have to do? I am going to describe L3. So for all the options given here, the drs are 2, 2 minus 1. Okay, so so we don't have a particular choice to pick out the R bar from here from the options. So I am going to calculate points on that L3. See, if you say this point has some A and this point has some B, A is a point on L1, B is a point on L2. Now what I am going to do is, I will write an arbitrary, a general point on the L1 as A and a general point on L2 as B, and then I calculate drs with respect to 2 points. Then the drs with respect to 2 points is in proportional to these drs, because these are the drs of L3 as well as drs of L3 can be calculated with 2 points. So what is A? A general point of L1 can be calculated using this one. If this ratio is some lambda and the general point is, if you treat this as some lambda, then what is x? Minus lambda plus 1. Minus lambda plus 1, comma 2 lambda, comma 2 lambda is a general point on L1. Then what is B? Point B. Point B is nothing but, if you treat this as some mu, it can be represented as 2 mu minus mu and again 2 mu. This is the general point on L3 and this is the general point on L1. With respect to that, those 2 points, we will calculate the drs. How will be the drs for 2 points? Difference between their corresponding coordinates. So difference between these x coordinates is 2 mu minus of minus plus lambda minus 1, and again difference between these two values minus mu minus 2 lambda, and then difference between these two values 2 mu minus 2 lambda. So these are the drs of L3 with respect to A and B. These are the drs of L3 with respect to the drs of L1 and L2. So for a line, different we will have different drs and all those are in the same ratio. So these 3 values are in proportion with these 3 values. So divided by 2 is equals to divided by 2 is equals to divided by minus 1. With this I am going to calculate lambda and then mu. So if you observe here, if you consider these two, directly 2 can be removed, and then if you equalize the numerators, I have that 3 mu plus 3 lambda is equals to 1. It's one relation. And then if you take these two, what we have, if you do cross multiplication, mu plus 2 lambda is equals to 4 mu minus 4 lambda. And drag everything to one side, I have that 3 mu is equals to 6 lambda. 6 lambda is equals to 3 mu, and then whereas 2 lambda is equals to mu. So 2 lambda is equals to mu can be used in 1. By solving this, what we have, since mu is 2 lambda, 6 lambda plus 3 lambda, 9 lambda is 1, and I have that lambda is equals to 1 by 9 as well as mu is equals to 2 by 9. These are the arbitrary points on L3, and then by comparing the drs of L3 with the drs with respect to A and B, I have the values of lambda and mu. Then by replacing this lambda and mu in these points, I have the points on L3. Okay, so the next step I am going to arrange this one. See, finally what I have, that since lambda is 1 by 3, then the points of A are minus 1 by 9 plus 1. So this can be written as 8 by 9, comma 2 by 9, comma 2 by 9. Replace lambda with 1 by 9, I have the point here. And then replace mu with 2 by 9, then you will get B. What is B? 4 by 9, and then minus 2 by 9, and then 4 by 9. These are the coordinates of the point P. So point A and point B I have, and then what is the midpoint of AB? Okay, So for my convenience, I am going to write the midpoint. 8 by 9 plus 4 by 9. 8 plus 4 is 12 and by 2 is 6. 6 by 9, nothing but 2 by 3. And this is 0. Again it is 6 by 9, nothing but 2 by 3. This M is the midpoint of AB. Right? So I have points on AB, points on L3 as A, B and M, and already I have DRs. So with respect to DRs, every option is possible. So now with respect to point, which line describes that I am going to check which of the following options satisfies any of these points. Okay, so to describe about a line, we need one point and DRs of that line. See, already DRs of all these lines are same. Then I am going to check which of the following options will satisfy any one of these points. Okay, so I am going to check. So before that, what I am going to tell you is, see, daily we are going to upload one problem which is asked in previous advanced exam papers. Currently we are going with the advanced 2019. Okay, so I request you all to subscribe for the channel and then share it for the necessary and interested people. Okay, so what I feel is one problem per day will raise our probability to select in the advanced examination, right? So now coming to the problem, if you see the line given in option A, see it is given like this. See, for any value of t, it represents L3. So if you observe the coordinates 2 by 3, so 0 and then 1 by 3. This represents the point on the line. So what is the point on the line with respect to this one? 2 by 3. Since j is not there, 0 and then 1 by 3. So this is the midpoint of AB. That means M is on L3. So this first option satisfies M and then already we have DRs. So this is the correct choice. And coming to second option. See, coming to second option, this represents the point on that line. So the point on that line is 4 by 9 minus 2 by 9 and then 4 by 9. 4 by 9 minus 2 by 9 and 4 by 9 is B. So second option, the line describes in the second option satisfies point B as well as the DRs of the required line. So this is also our choice. Whereas coming to C, these are the DRs, but origin is not there in that line. So this is not our choice. Then coming to option D, see if you it represents the point and the point is nothing but 8 by 9, 2 by 9 and 2 by 9, which is nothing but point A. So this is also one of the choice of the line. All these three lines are same. All these three lines describes about L3, but these three forms are given with respect to different points of the line. So to describe a line, we need one point and the DRs. DRs are same for all these things, but that we described that line with respect to point A1s, point B1s and point M1s. So finally, your choice for these questions are A, B and C, A, B and D. Okay, so this is related to vectors asked in JEE Advanced 2019. Okay, so once again what I tell you is, first of all, take the question. Again take the question and then try in your own way, and if you have any difficulty in the meanwhile, then go through for the video solution. Right? Thank you.